Hey, this is Leif Gamford. I played the cash register thief in The Amazing Spider-Man, and you're listening to the Everything Geek podcast.
Hey, this is Rich McDonald, and I play Commander David Mason on Call of Duty Black Ops 2. And you're listening to Everything Geek podcast.
Hello, I'm Simon Fisherbecker. You probably know me better as Dorian Moldovar from Doctor Who, or the Fat Friar from Harry Potter. And this is Everything Geek Podcast.
Your attention, masters, mistresses. All systems functional for the Everything Geek Podcast.
Hey, it's James Arnold Taylor, the voice of Obi-Wan Kenobi and Master Plo Koon in Star Wars The Clone Wars, and you're listening to Everything Geek, the podcast.
Face it, Tiger. You just hit the jackpot with the Everything Geek podcast.
Hello everyone, you're listening to the Everything Geek podcast. I'm your host Rory, and joining me is co-host Lauren. And also joining us today is a very special guest. We have actress Sarah Bolger, who is best known for playing Sabina Pleasure in Alex Rider's Stormbreaker, Mary Tudor in The Tudors, Princess Aurora in Once Upon a Time, Mallory Grace in the Spiderwick Chronicles, Christy in America, Rebecca in the Moth Diaries, the voice of Eleanor Lamb in BioShock 2, and stars in The Lazarus Effect, which is released February 27th. It's a pleasure to have you join us on the podcast today, Sarah.
I'm excited to talk to you both.
So getting right into the questions, how did you decide you wanted to become an actress?
I mean, I've been acting for 16, 17 years. It was more of a fall into than a choice, I guess. It was like early on doing little films in Ireland. I'm from Dublin, Ireland, and acting in little movies and TV things. And then I did a job called In America, which was a Jim Sheridan movie when I was 10. And that's how I caught the bug. That was the addiction started. It was the best, most beautiful project one could ever be involved in, and I was lucky enough to start out there.
That's great, definitely. Were you disappointed that no more Alex Rider movies were made, even though the books are very popular, and would you have reprised the role of Sabina Pleasure again?
I probably am too old to play Sabina Pleasure now, but I think it was a great movie when we got to make it. And it's sort of incorporated, I think, more than the first book. They were so expensive to make, and I was really happy with the amount of fans who really came on board to see that film. And get to film it in London was amazing, and Alex Pettifer is so wonderful and handsome. So it was great fun. I mean, if they did when myself and Alex, we both age a couple of years, that would be fun.
Yeah, it certainly would be interesting to see both of you in the roles now. It would be pretty interesting, to say the least. So, moving on to my third question, what are your favourite memories of working on The Tudors and of playing Mary Tudor in particular?
Oh, that role is a dream role. I love that girl. I love Lady Mary. She's so strong and much stronger than I'll ever be. Do you know what? A lot of people have asked me, especially promoting a horror film, who would I bring back from the dead if I could? I would bring back her just to talk to her about her life. She seems to have the most fascinating and sad life. It's really wonderful. It's it was a dream to play her, and Jonathan Rhys-Meyers was so much fun. Us two Irish people on the set. I got to do it for 3 years, so I got to do it while I got to film while finishing off school in Dublin. It was really wonderful. The best experience, I think. Those corsets, though, I could have done without them.
Yeah, that's for sure. My final question is, do you have any upcoming acting roles or any other projects you'd like to talk about? Of course, it's the Lazarus Effect coming out very soon. Do you want to give us a small description of the movie and why you think moviegoers will like it?
Okay, so first of all, I think what's so great about this film, what really brought me into it was its unique originality, its lack of cliches. It's the most fascinating and thrilling horror movie I think I could ever make. I was really fortunate. David Gelb, who is the director of Kyoto Dreams of Sushi, and I know I pronounced that wrong, he directed it, and he's a documentary director and has never done a horror feature before. So it was great. It was so fresh. We all had this fresh outlook going into it. I don't think any of the actors really had done horrors before. So it was really different. I think it's a really special movie with a really unique and fascinating ending, and I don't think people will be disappointed. I think it's, on a scale of 1 to scary, I think it's pretty scary. I know I watch it, between my finger slits. But I'd be very excited for people to see it. Very, very proud of it. It's about a group of scientists, students, who are playing around with the idea of resurrection and bringing people back from the dead, not knowing really how far things can go. Olivia Wilde and Mark Duplass are just superb and my favorite actors, and bring something really special to this project. And I really hope everyone who goes to see it loves it.
Well, we're definitely excited for it to come out on February 27th. Yeah, all of our listeners, be sure to go see The Lazarus Effect, which is out very soon. So thank you very much, Sarah, for answering all of my questions. I'll let my co-host Lawron ask his. He's got a few for Once Upon a Time fans to enjoy.
Yes, I'm a big fan of Once Upon a Time. I've actually seen all the episodes and I love it so much. I've got a few questions for you there. So my first question for you, Sarah, is which has been your favorite project to work on and why? Before we get into the Once Upon a Time stuff.
Goodness. Well, I mean, as I said, I think The Tudors is probably my favorite project, just because I got to bring a character out of adolescence, out of her teens into being a woman, and I think that's a really cool thing for me to be able to do. I've done films which are shorter, and you get to bring a character along for 90 minutes, and I got to grow her for 3 years. I think that was really special, and I was really happy to be a part of that. But this movie was really different for me because I'd never done a horror movie, and it's a hard thing as an actor to remain scared when it's really just a set with a load of grips and electrics and cameramen. So it's a feat and a hardship, and I loved every second of it. So I would do it again. I have to admit, this one was really fun.
Awesome. Well, were you a fan of Once Upon a Time prior to working on the show, or was it kind of all new to you when you started working on it?
Once Upon a Time is amazing. I love Eddie and Adam, our creators. That show is brilliant. That show is so smart. I mean, I was a fan. I wasn't as addicted to it as I was getting to know the people and the actors and being able to work with them. Then it became an obsession. It's so brilliant and so smart. It's on my not TiVo. TiVo doesn't exist anymore. What's the other thing I tape it on? I don't have a videotape either. That recording device on my television. It's just filled with Once Upon a Time. It's a really great show, and they've been so nice to me over the last 3 years. It's nice to be a part of that kind of very cool family.
Yes, definitely. Once Upon a Time is definitely one of the shows I always keep on my DVR. It's one of the only live action shows I actually rewatch because it's just as enjoyable the first time you see it as you watch it over and over. But I love the show, so.
I'm very happy to hear that.
Yes, my next question for you is, what did you think of Princess Aurora's change and the character development, and what's it been like for you over the seasons? Do you feel differently about her now as you than you initially felt about her when you first started to portray the role, or do you feel kind of the same? Or
I think she grew up a bit. She was a princess who never thought she'd get to live out her days. She was a princess who was cursed from the get-go. So her life as a woman and as a young woman falling in love was very different than that of most people. So she had a very unique attitude towards life, and it's been great to bring her into the future and bring her to have a proper relationship with someone she loves. That's been amazing. I mean, to play Sleeping Beauty in general, that's a dream. I have to admit, I feel very vain telling people that I play Sleeping Beauty. It's a lot of fun.
all right, well, thank you so much, Sarah, for answering my questions. It's a pleasure.
Of all the scenes you've done in the Tudors, considering there's so many and so many episodes, which was your favourite scene to play?
In the Tudors, what was my it was a long time ago. There was, it was 2008, 2009, 2010. Any of those big banquet scenes were pretty fun. There was astronomical amount of fake food, which would make you starving and you couldn't eat any of it. And so many fun people dressed up in the most ridiculous costumes. It's kind of like a strange out-of-body Halloween party.
Very nice. Well, that's all of our questions for you, Sarah. We don't want you to keep you hanging around any longer, but it's been a pleasure talking to you on the podcast.
Pleasure talking to you both. Thank you very much.
And hopefully we can talk to you again when you have something else to promote.
There you go.
So we'll talk to you soon then. Bye.
Have a good
Thanks
one.
again for joining
Bye.
us.
Bye, thank you.
Yeah, just great to finally have Sarah on the podcast. She was a delight to talk to. So that was our interview with actress Sarah Bolger. So, Lawron, you ready to wrap up?
I'm ready.
So make sure to check out our YouTube channels. The podcast is www.youtube.com/users/everythinggeekcast. Mine is www.youtube.com/users/Sepidus Lawron's is www.youtube.com/users/StarLegend9595. Check us out on Twitter, twitter.com/everythinggeekp. Check us out on Instagram, instagram.com/official everythinggeekpodcast. Email us at the below email, everythinggeekpodcast@gmail.com. Check out Sarah Bolger on Twitter, twitter.com/Sarah Bolger. And check out Channel 138 where we broadcast live from, www.channel138.com. Geeks out, everyone.
Geeks out.